The Waterford ladies start their All-Ireland Championship campaign against 5 in a row chasing Dublin in Baltinglass on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Well, earlier in the week, I met the Murray triplets from Comeragh Rangers, Emma, Katie and Aoife, following training at the WIT Arena. They made history back in 2012 by becoming the first triplets to win All-Ireland honours. I asked Emma about how it all began.
In Comeragh J pitch, under 10 training over with Sean Foley and Marguerite Hassett and Marina Hanlon, and out playing with the two lads and our school friends, I suppose, would be the earliest memories.
Football was always number one in the Murray household, was it?
It was, yeah. There was no camogie club in Comeragh, so it was all football from an early age, yeah.
Katie, what about yourself?
Yeah, I suppose over playing the blitzes, under 10, and then in primary school, playing with all our friends and stuff. That'd be the earliest memories. We started winning, I suppose, in primary school. We had a good, strong team. They'd be our earliest memories.
Did you try out any other sports?
No.
Only one sport, always. Stick to option.
Never venture too far. No.
Aoife, what about yourself? Earliest childhood memories of playing ball with these two?
Same as the lads, I suppose, and just at home as well. Any spare time we had, we were always out passing the ball, kicking the ball, shoving each other off the ball, and I suppose it's always something we had a great interest in from our father as well. He always had a ball on hand when we were younger, so.
Were the games pretty competitive?
At home?
Yeah.
Oh, they were the most competitive games I've ever played in my life, I'd say. You'd have plenty of bruises coming out of them, but sure, toughened us up for when we needed it.
Who were your idols, Aoife, in terms of ladies football or Gaelic football, I suppose, at that stage when you were growing up?
The two Dunphys, Nora and Anne, I would have looked up to them growing up because obviously they were the senior players in our club, and they had great involvement when we were underage. They would have took many a training, and obviously Michelle Ryan and the Walls and all those other great players that we used to go and watch, and now we're getting to play football with them, which is great.
And who would you have looked up to in your younger days?
Yeah, the same as Aoife said, the Dunphys, they were always idols and role models for us coming up in the club. And Michelle Ryan, there was Elaine Power, all them that you'd look at that would be in a similar position to you. You know, Elaine was in the back, so you'd be watching her growing up, seeing how she's playing, and you know, you'd strive to, you know, copy what she was doing and that. And Michelle Ryan, again, as Aoife said, was always a great leader, and it was great to get out on the pitch with her and get a good wins with her over the years. So it was always, when you came onto the panel playing with your idols, was always, you know, it was a dream come true really for us.
Katie, what's been the highlight so far for the three playing with the Waterford ladies?
I suppose playing senior football and Division 1. Like, you always want to be up with the top teams and competing with them. And then when you're playing competitive games like that, it brings the whole county on, and staying up senior and staying up in Division 1 competing. That's what you want to be playing. You want to be up against the top teams.
There was great photos after the 2015 All-Ireland intermediate win against Kildare of the three, both on the field with the cup and also afterwards. I think the three are kind of on top of each other in the warm down area. What do you remember about that?
I suppose we got a lot of publicity from that game just because, you know, we were the first triplets to ever win an All-Ireland together, which is, it's a nice thing to have. Like, you know, we obviously wouldn't have been really aware of that until we started winning on All-Ireland's under 14 and that. So to win an All-Ireland at intermediate level together was extra special, you know, because the three of us are on the team. That wouldn't happen very often, and it's just something nice to look back on when we're older, you know, to have those pictures and those memories.
Have you heard of any other triplets that are playing inter-county ladies football, camogie or hurling, anything like that around the country?
No, I haven't anyway, so I don't think there's many triplets around, so we still have that one in the bag.
Emma, is it anything you've ever used to your advantage on the field with club or with school or with county in terms of playing tricks on opponents or anything like that?
No, not really, no. But sure, sometimes now your marker would ask, were you the one that was in midfield, or were you the one that was wing back? You know, that kind of way they might get mixed up, but generally not, no. I suppose having the two of them on the pitch is easier to give out to them than anyone else in that kind of way, so they get the brunt of it most of the time compared to anyone else. Yeah, you know, they'd be able to take it, you'd be able to give it to them rather than give it to anyone else in that kind of way.
And how do you differ in terms of playing styles, you think, Emma, or are you broadly similar?
We're fairly similar, I suppose. I would always grown up playing in the backs and midfield, and Kate and Aoife being the forwards, but we have a fairly similar playing style. You know, it's mostly running is our game. You know, we wouldn't be the strongest or that, so I suppose our pace is always what's been to our advantage. So we try to use that, the three of us, all over the pitch when we're playing the game.
Katie, who's the toughest opponent you've come across? You mentioned, I suppose, the honour of going up and playing senior. Who's the most difficult opponent you've come up against?
I always find the two wards in Galway, they're twins. I always find they're very strong and they're hard to mark. But we have come across fairly strong opponents. Everyone's always a battle, I suppose, on the day, but you just have to do your best and get on with it.
How would you rate your league campaign? You lost out to Dublin and Cork and got a big win over Tipperary and Clonmel.
Yeah, it was a good enough league campaign. Obviously, against Cork we thought we could have done maybe a bit better, but we got a good performance against Tip. But you would come away from some of the games a bit disappointed, but we were going to try and amend that now next Saturday against Dublin and put up a performance against them.
If I suppose you're fairly familiar with Dublin, I think it's the 5th time in 3 years you're going to come up against them. Why do you think they're such a tough nut to crack?
Well, I suppose it probably comes down to experience. You know, they've a lot of experience in All-Irelands and playing the best teams and playing big games, so a lot of their players would have a good few years under the belt, and I suppose it's hard to get out a team that's used to playing together for so long and at such a high level. So, you know, it's just about getting a good run at them, and hopefully we can crack their defence and get a few scores.
Yeah, Emma, how have you found coming up against Dublin over the years?
Yeah, it's always, as Aoife said, a tough challenge. You know, it's hard to beat a team that's on a winning streak. But last year in the championship, we only lost out by 4 points, and we actually came away disappointed after it. You know, we really thought we could take that game. So look, obviously All-Ireland champions, league champions the last few years, it's always a tough challenge. But we're looking forward to the match now next Saturday. We feel we have a system and that in place now to hopefully crack them and get over the line next Saturday. I
suppose your nearest and dearest have missed out in watching the games over the past year or so. Are you hoping to have some family and friends roaring you on now in Baltinglass on Saturday?
Yeah, hopefully now. Dad and Mum and our Uncle Brendan, he goes up with into all the matches usually, so hopefully they'll be up in the stand next Saturday in Baltinglass cheering us on. You know, it's not always easy sitting at home in the sitting room watching through the live streams and that kind of way, so it'll be great to have the supporters and all the girls' families and friends back up in the stands next week.
Katie, how did you find COVID when everything stopped, coming from a football mad household? How did you get through the lockdown both last year and I suppose at the start of this year as well?
I suppose we're lucky. There's 3 of us, our younger sister as well, to go training with and running with, so we didn't really have much of an excuse. We weren't really alone, but it was tough still, but we had company, I suppose, to go on runs with, and it was still fairly competitive. Emma was trying to beat us and all of them still, but yeah, we couldn't complain. We still had people to go out running with and out kicking the ball with compared to other people who mightn't have anybody, so it was still tough but more manageable than other people, I suppose.
Yeah, Aoife, what type of training regime did you have during those months?
This was strictly run by Emma. I'd say she took leadership now. She would be very good to get you out of the house, like if you're feeling a bit unmotivated or whatever. And obviously we just followed the plan that Emmett and Raf put together for us, and we did push each other on the runs, which is important because it's easier in training when your managers are standing there roaring at you, but if you have no one there you're inclined to step out of a run or two, but with Emma that doesn't really happen often. So we did get a lot out of the training on our own, I suppose, and it shows now because we are very fit, so the work did stick to us.
Great stuff. Well, Emma, Katie and Aoife Murray, the Murray Triplets from Comeragh Rangers, thanks for your time today and all the best in the All-Ireland series.
Thank you. Thanks.